So this here movie, Ocean 7-Eleven, is the first movie in years directed by Steven Soderbergh. Oh man, I'm so happy. I'm glad that feller got the idea in his noggin to get her done and get us another flick for us to see. Man, I need me a brewski. Talking in this ridiculous accent is making me thirsty. What is up, everybody? RandomRandomMan here.
Okay, I'm not gonna talk like that throughout the rest of this review. And plus, get rid of this toothpick here. Anyway, what is up, everybody? RandomRandomMan here, bringing you my review for Logan Lucky. Now, the plot basically follows two brothers, Johnny and Clyde Logan, played by Channing Tatum and Adam Driver respectively, who decide to rob the Charlotte Motor Speedway after Johnny gets laid off from his job working construction at that same site. So, with the help of their sister Melly, played by Riley Keough, and a convicted safecracker, Joe Bang, played by Daniel Craig, the gang gets underway to pull off this heist. Going into this movie, I was very much looking forward to it as, like I've mentioned in the intro, this is Steven Soderbergh's return from a supposed retirement from Hollywood a few years ago. Either way of looking at that, I'm glad that there is another movie from him that we get to see. Looking at his extensive filmography, he has made movies that seem big in scale but are actually smaller and more experimental to some degrees. He has made movies such as the biopic Erin Brockovich, the crime drama Traffic, for which he has won the Best Director Oscar for. He was also nominated for Erin Brockovich the same year. He's also made the unconventional two-part biopic Che, The Informant, a comedy starring Matt Damon, Magic Mike, but his most mainstream movie to date is Ocean's 11, which is a remake of the 1960 Rat Pack film of the same name, which in turn spawned two sequels, Ocean's 12 and Ocean's 13, comprising of its own trilogy. Now Soderbergh is back with another heist movie with Logan Lucky like his Ocean's trilogy before. This film had me interested after its first trailer dropped as 1, it looked hilarious, 2, I am a sucker for heist films, and 3, the cast that encompassed this movie looked ridiculous in the best way. And on that note, with the cast and their performances, there is a huge ensemble of players to run down here. Starting off, of course, with the two leads, the Logan brothers themselves, Channing Tatum and Adam Driver. They do superb jobs in this film. They are laced with really outrageous southern accents and all, but they have personalities to their characters. Tatum's character, for example, has a soft spot for his daughter. I love the chemistry between those two. Their relationship was so infectiously cute. Driver's character is an Iraq war vet who lost a limb or a hand, as he says, even though it's his lower forearm and his hand gone. But he is really good in the movie. We have Riley Keough as the brother's sister. She is also very cool to see in this film. Daniel Craig is the real standout of this movie, given how we've seen him in other roles like James Bond before, but in how he is so outlandish in this film, playing a character that is far away from what else he has done before. It's a real treat to see. Plus, I loved what mode of perception his character put up in being incarcerated, as he puts it, and these Logan siblings wanting to bust him out and have him work on the heist with them. I don't want to spoil how it happens, but there's a lot to see here. Yeah, other people show up in this movie too, like Seth MacFarlane, Katie Holmes, Hilary Swank, Catherine Waterston, and Sebastian Stan. They all have really out there accents as well, and ranging in their screen time, they are well used for the most part, but with our main leads being Tatum, Driver, Keough, and especially Craig, I think the cast in this film is excellent. The writing in this film is interesting to note because of who wrote the film and how it is put into play. This screenplay is apparently written by Rebecca Blunt, who has no other screenwriting credit to her name, so I assume that it is Steven Soderbergh under a pseudonym, because traditionally he has used pseudonyms whenever he has done other roles in making a movie. Like when he is cinematographer, he uses Peter Andrews. When he is editor, he uses Mary Ann Bernard, stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, this movie at its core is a heist film. And the way the movie is even set up is to be deliberately slow, and not only how stuff is written out, but in the direction as well, as we ease our way into seeing how the Logan siblings and Joe Bang get into trying to pull off this heist in the first place in robbing a NASCAR racetrack. The concept of this movie being about a robbery at a race car track does remind me of Stanley Kubrick's The Killing, which is a heist film also at a racetrack, but involving horses, not cars. And it is quite contrary to see a movie that is about a racetrack robbery being so slowly paced, but I did not mind that at all. Granted, the motivation in this movie as to why these people are robbing this racetrack is not very clear. That's one issue I do have with this movie, in that the heist motivations are not really fleshed out. Usually in a heist film, it is pretty obvious as to what the motives are in trying to steal a huge sum of money. I mean, in Ocean's 11, we had Andy Garcia at George Clooney's annoyance, but in this movie, we really don't get that. That didn't hinder my enjoyment of this movie very much to me, because I was so into seeing how the heist was coming together with these people getting others involved, getting materials together just to pull off this thing. And this is where Soderbergh shows off how he has not lost 1 ounce of what makes him a good director. Soderbergh not only has outstanding direction in this film, but he also photographs and edits this movie well too, under those aforementioned pseudonyms. He has a very clean cut and slick look for this movie, transitioning from scene to scene, and also bringing out the humor of this film, as I think this is a pretty funny movie. Not as funny as I expected it to be, but the little bits of chuckles that I did have throughout the movie, and even a few hard laughs, really kept the movie going. Hell, the movie is even self-aware of Soderbergh's past work by calling the NASCAR heist itself Ocean 7-Eleven. I also want to quickly mention that this is the 4th 2017 release that I have seen that uses a John Denver song prominently in its story. In Free Fire, we had Annie's song. In Alien Covenant, we had Country Roads Take Me Home. We also had Okja use Annie's song to a better extent, in my opinion, for its narrative. And in Logan Lucky, we yet again have Country Roads Take Me Home used to a cool effect in this film, and hammering home one of the themes of this movie. Even though I felt that the motives of the heist were still not that well fleshed out, I thought it was a nice touch. The movie runs at about 2 hours, and for the majority of it, I did not feel the running time for this movie until the last quarter of it. The final 20 to 30 minutes of this movie were noticeably more slow than I expected. It happens after the heist of the film occurs, in where we see the ramifications of what happened afterward, and that's where I felt the movie could have been trimmed down. I know that the film was trying to show us everything in what it was trying to do in its precise direction that Soderbergh gives us. Also, with the movie trying to be clever in how it wraps up too, that's something that we've already seen before with Soderbergh's films. I mean, he's made 3 Oceans movies before this film, Ocean's 13 being released a decade ago. But even if we have seen all of this before from this filmmaker, I think that Soderbergh still directs this movie very well. He has brought yet another solid movie to us. This is a flick that is not going to be for everyone. The pacing of this movie is going to turn people off for how deliberately slow-paced it is. And if you're expecting a fast-paced laugh riot of a heist movie from the trailers, you're going to be sorely disappointed. But I appreciated the liberties that Steven Soderbergh took in making this movie. In fact, he independently funded this movie and distributed it not through a major studio, which I have to commend. But ultimately, I thought this was a satisfying movie by the end, and you'll know what I mean when you see it. This is a movie I had a lot of fun with. If you're looking for a heist movie that is unconventional in its nature, you have to keep an open mind watching this film if you don't know any of Soderbergh's previous work. Even with all of that, I definitely recommend it. My final verdict for Logan Lucky is 4 out of 5 stars. Thank you all, as always, for watching. Be sure to like this video, comment on what you thought of Logan Lucky, subscribe to my channel for more, and I'll catch you on the next movie review.